they're going to have to come up with something. And look, I said before the game today in the Sky Sports Newscast, I have got very little sympathy for Arsenal. They knew at the start of the season that they were short in centre forward. They knew that they might be, if Havertz got injured, that they were in a position where they didn't have the quality up top. So they've known about it. They've also had 2 title races, so they know what it's like. So this is not an inexperienced team anymore. It's not an inexperienced manager, and it's not an inexperienced situation for them to be in. So I always say that ultimately, did you know that this could have happened before the start of the season? Yeah. Could it have been foreseen? Yes, it could. We knew that Arsenal lacked goals up top and a top centre forward. I'm not saying they should have go and desperately buy one, but they knew in the January transfer window that there was an issue there. Again, couldn't get any business done. So this could have always happened. It has happened. I thought it might be Declan Rice coming from behind and from midfield and going forward, and Jorginho and Partey might be deeper, or even Mourinho and Partey might be deeper. But it's ended up that Mourinho's obviously gone forward, and he's been the one that's the threat in the box. Sometimes good can come out of what seems to be bad, and you can sort of develop something together. It's going to be tough for Arsenal. They were playing against Leicester in the bottom 3 yesterday, and they're going to have tough games coming up. So I wouldn't say it's all plain sailing, because they scored with 10 minutes to go, and then obviously a little bit later than that. But it was a good moment for them. They have to find a way. No excuses. When you've been in a title race for 2 years on the bounce, you spent hundreds of millions, you knew you had a slight weakness at centre forward, you can't act all surprised when you sort of 10, 15 games to go and you're in a title race and you think, feel sorry for yourselves. That's not the way in which it can be. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta's not feeling that way either.
This should go down to Mikel Arteta. How much credit does he deserve from getting this? He's potentially got players that would run through walls for him. It feels like that. He's very much got that team. He's got their back. But they talk about the joking. Saliba coming out saying that he would be a forward. It's the first thing that he would say. Everyone's putting their hand up and saying, look, I can do this. How much credit goes to Mikel Arteta for what he's doing?
Well, I want to take you back to, I think, season 2 of this show.
Yeah.
Because when they did the documentary, and they had a lot of stick for that documentary. But I still maintain it's one of the best things they ever did, because you got an insight into what he was trying to do and why he was trying to do it. And when he took over at Arsenal, it was a club with lots of players who felt that they were doing Arsenal a favour. They were overplayed underachievers in many cases. And what he wanted to do was change the culture at Arsenal. And it's the reason why, even if they were not to win the league, I would not want to get involved in any conversations about is Arteta the right man and all of that nonsense, because a club, yes, the whole objective is to win things. But if you've got someone who's done for Arsenal what he has done, you appreciate that he's created the right culture at the club. The young players have the right attitude. The older players set an example. The entire team see these issues as obstacles to be surmounted, but they do it together. There's no one individual who thinks that they are bigger than the team.
No.
And I think there are so many clubs where you do have star players that are indulged, but that is to the detriment of the team. Whereas at Arsenal, and you think about Saka, he's a really good example. Saka came into the team at a time when they had a lot of injuries, and he agreed to play at left back, I think maybe even right back. I'm sure Arsenal fans will correct me on that one. But he agreed to play out of position to help the team, and he's played in a number of positions during his journey to the right side of the attack. Without moaning, without question, because he wanted to do it for the benefit of the team. And I think the other players now are coming in and doing what's asked them, because they want to run through those brick walls, as you say, for Arteta. Samurai has done a terrific piece in the Mail on Sunday talking about the fact that he questions whether Sir Jim has got any decisions right over the past year. Would you say so?
Oh, I think he's got a few decisions right. Bringing in Ruben Amorim, I think in time he will prove that he's the right man for the job. But yes, lots of mistakes have been made regarding giving Ten Hag a new contract, controversial decisions about raising some of the ticket prices, the whole situation with Dan Ashworth coming and going. It's been very difficult for Ineos, and I totally accept your point. Manchester United have now fallen behind clubs like Brighton, clubs like Bournemouth, clubs like Brentford. It is going to be a long, hard road for United to get back to the top. And I know this week marks the 1-year anniversary of Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos buying a 25% stake in United. I think what's more important this year is we're approaching the anniversary, 20 years of the Glazers owning Manchester United. And we hear a lot about cost cutting, but if Jim Ratcliffe really wants to cut costs, they need to deal with the amount of interest they've been paying out to service the Glazers' loans.
What a finish it is from Moreno. Arsenal do really well defending a corner kick, then they break. Odegaard into Calafiore. He does really well, gets away and slips Trossard in the left-hand side, goes and takes on the full-back and delivers a lovely ball to the back post. And there's Moreno there with his left foot. I mean, he might not be a natural striker, but his movement was like one. He just peels away, doesn't get involved in the play, comes round the back of Leicester's defence, and it's a really, really tidy finish. 2-0 Arsenal wide, but it's a lovely ball into the middle, and he's just standing there all along. Flicks it to the back post, gives the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Arsenal, it's not been their best performance, they won't care. They lead 1-0 with 10 minutes to go.
The way he took his goals, there's every chance, but it's going to be a testing period for Arsenal. Obviously, they've lost any sort of striker option they've got. They're trying a new one out, 2 goals. It's a pretty good trial start for him, but they needed to put the pressure on Liverpool. I think Liverpool are still in a really healthy position, but if they'd have not got 3 points today, they would have handed the initiative that potentially they got from obviously midweek draw at Everton back over to Liverpool, and the gap would have remained the same. But as it is, Arsenal have put a little bit of pressure back on Liverpool,
who play Wolves tomorrow at home. But it is a stressful few weeks for Liverpool potentially with the Merseyside derby where they drop points. Then they've got Aston Villa away from home. Then they've got Manchester City away from home as well. Arsenal will be looking at that and thinking, well, could
Absolutely.
they? Might they?
Could they? Might they? They have to take care of their own business, and you know, like Phil said, they managed to get the result today. Big 3 points to sustain that pressure. It would have really deflated them. We've seen this before with Arsenal. Last season's title race, we've seen it. They've just at the final hurdle not managed to get over it. But I think they haven't got their starting front 3 available. They've got Bukayo Saka, Martinelli and Havertz out now. They've got to adapt, and this is where the squad really needs to step up. But as long as they can keep the pressure on Liverpool, it'll be an exciting title race.